Hi everybody, and welcome to my process video for this painting, which is called Wild Poppy Farms Bouquet number 4. You can see there's the bouquet, and there is a pic collage that I used to create my second painting from this bouquet. So I just took snippets, took a cantaloupe from my setup the other day, and I put it all into one for a nice reference. As usual, I'm starting off with my pencil drawing. I use a red pencil, and then I use poppy red Turner's acrylic gouache to do my paint lines. You can see that I just do it quickly without too much care, because Turner's acrylic gouache will cover anything that I want covered. I like to make sure I leave some of my red lines shining through, because I believe it gives it energy and life. So that's the reason for the red line painting that I do. So you can see that I'm just intuitively, quickly painting. Obviously this is sped up, so you don't have to watch a 2-hour video. But I'm just looking at my reference and adding my paint lines. So there we have it. Now I'm going to start with the greens, starting with some dark greens on the cantaloupe rind and also the leaves. I think this nice dark green really grounds things, and then you'll see that I'm going to add some lighter greens where the light would hit. Just let you watch that for a moment. Nice, quick, organic shapes. You can see I hold my brush way back at the end so that there's a little more freedom and movement as I'm painting. I'm not trying to be exacting. I'm just trying to get a nice dark grounding for the painting. My larger paintings, I do an underpainting, but with these little 8x8s, I haven't been lately, since I do add so many layers, as you will see as we go along. Okay, now I'm adding some of the brighter green where the light will hit. This is just the first pass. I will add a little bit more white to this lighter green sometimes for really brighter areas. Sometimes I do a little yellow. You can see I'm taking advantage of adding another color to the rind, just kind of scribbling little spots. And there you have some light dabbling on the dark green leaves up at the top, some stems. Now I'm taking the poppy red that I already had and some yellow and making a nice melon color. Quickly and efficiently just paint it on there. You can see I have some poppy red where the seeds are, so I'm just kind of letting that shine through. Later you'll see that I do add some more of a darker color to show where the seeds sort of left their imprint. Adding some yellow while I have it on my brush, not only in the flowers in the two sides of the painting, but also in the actual center flower there. Even though it's kind of an orangey pinkish with some nice darks, I do see some yellow in there, so I just laid it on there. Right now I'm adding sort of the base color to my raspberries. These are going to change quite a bit because I noticed when I was finishing the painting, they kind of blended in with the background color I eventually select. So these red raspberries will eventually turn into black raspberries, always being flexible and ready to change. Adding the second swipe through on the main flower, some nice sort of reds and oranges, some pinks. I'm making sure that those nice dark lines are not completely covered, because they really add dimension to the petals. I have to hold my reference photo quite close. I have cataracts and I can't see well right now until I get my surgery. So I also have to pick up the painting every now and again and get a closer look, but I really want to make some tutorials, so I'm just doing my best. Adding a little bit of a splash of pink, putting it on the raspberries, and once I said again, this will change. These will be black raspberries, but I don't know that yet at this point in the painting. That's kind of the fun of it. I just really go with my gut, go with my intuition, and I'm willing to change. I do have a plan, but I'm willing to change my plan. That's kind of part of the fun of it. While I have the pink on my brush, I'm just going to add another layer, another bit where sort of the light hits the petals, or where I notice in my reference photo that there's a little bit of pizzazz. And I'm not thinking about this is a flower. I'm thinking about, what do I see in the reference? What can I add that I haven't added yet? What shape? So I'm adding a little bit of a lighter pink with a little yellow mixed in, a little brightness here and there. Now I'm going in with the first swipe on the glass jar. It's like a little jelly jar. You guys probably know the jar. It's kind of commonly used, not only on your toast in the morning, but it's a great little vase for painting. So you can see I'm doing my first swipe, kind of like in between the leaves, a very light blue, which kind of mimics some color of water in the glass. A lot of times I have stems, but I didn't really do that for this one. I just really felt like I needed some nice blue color, so I'm just imagining that for some reason you can't see the stems, and it doesn't have to make sense because it's just a painting. It's my painting, and that was what made me happy. So I always keep that in mind when I'm painting. Is this making me happy? Is this sparking joy? Is this how I feel and what I want to say? A lot of people think that still life doesn't really say all that, but I really think it does. I think it's sparking joy and showing emotion of the moment. Now I'm adding some bright spots on that little purple flower, some very lilac kind of light colors. I see it in the reference, and I'm just adding it in. It's going to add a lot of dimension. While I have the purple on my brush, I add a little bit of a purple here and there in the center large flower and to the other flowers. I like to dabble things around so there's sort of continuity across the painting. This flower gave me a little trouble. I wasn't even sure what it was, what I wanted it to be. I think I make a decision pretty quickly here that I'm going to add some more shape to it, which made me feel better about it. It wound up being an interesting flower, but at first, when you're sort of working through the ugly, as Suzanne Allard says, it's a tense moment where you're not sure where it's going, but I actually wound up really liking it after I cut in the background color and really gave a little bit more shape to the flower. So right here, I decided to do a really pretty pink, and you're going to see that I cover all of the background in this pink. Later in this video, you'll see that down here at the bottom, I do add some more shadow where I believe the light isn't able to hit that part of the table. I did make a change after I finished the video, which I can be a little impulsive. I thought I was finished with the video, but as I said, once I can see a little bit better and I look closer, I know I have to make changes. So I actually went in and cut a swath of lighter pink across the painting, which I think did give a lot of life. So you won't see that in the painting because it was after I finished videotaping, but I just want to mention it now so that you can notice it when you look at the final painting. that little bits of light pink really add a pop and add some nice life. You can see right there. Now, that's the moment when I realized those raspberries have to become black raspberries. They're just fading into the background, and if you know my paintings, I love to have my little raspberries be adorable and sort of a signature moment, so I wanted them to pop more. Now you can see I'm adding a little bit of pink to the glass because you can see through glass, so you would see a little bit of the pink shining through. I don't know if you do this, but I always turn my painting a little bit as I'm doing some background. Makes it easier to cut in some nice shapes with your background color, making those leaves kind of stand out. Ideally, this would have been a taller painting, so I could have had more of those flowers show, but I think it's interesting, so I'm just going with it. Adding little dabbles of pink here and there where the leaves wouldn't cover the background. Here we go with the black raspberries, starting with like deep purple, I think is that color. Going and making the background color, leaving that nice dark center. Letting that dry a little bit, I add a little bit of this color here and there. Lots of layers. Oh, I decided I wanted that a little brighter. Wasn't really happy with these flowers until the end here, but that's okay. Decided to add a little bit more of that lighter pink here and there, pinkish yellow. Going in now to add those darker spots in the cantaloupe where the seeds would be. I really like the way the cantaloupe came out. Little shadows here and there. And here's where I'm going to really add those little seed moments, sort of the impressions, really is coming to life now. Still working on that flower. Decided to add some yellow. And now the white, where the little cute little daisy-like flowers here and there. Adds a little bit of brightness, a little pop. And you can take any area that has green or a dark color and make that your center. Doesn't have to be a pre-plan. It can just be whatever you feel in the moment, which is kind of fun. While I have the white, I think I do add a little bit more to the glass. Yeah, see, a little shine, a little moment. Now I'm adding the shadow that I talked about. You won't see me add the light pink because, like I said, I'm a little impulsive sometimes, and I decided to do that after I got a closer look and didn't set up my camera. But you can see what it looks like. Adding a little shadow here and there. A little more dark shadow in that purple flower to give it more dimension. And here I'm adding the highlights on the raspberries. Or is it darker? I can't tell. I think it's darker actually. I think they look good too because they kind of sing with the purple flower up there. And I also like the purple and the orange. I think that makes a nice contrast. So you'll see now, here is the final painting up close once I add the light pink. Oh, actually, I spoke too soon. I actually decided to add some light green. Sorry about that, guys. To add a little bit more color and also to tie it together to the other paintings in the series. There's a lot of green, and I like there to be some continuity in the series. A little more green. And there you can see the light pink right across. Some close-ups. There's that flower that gave me trouble. I wound up really loving it, and I love this cantaloupe and the little blueberry next to it. So cute. Hope you enjoyed.